back to the end of another week and the beginning of another year. Happy 2025. These were up in the garden, which I've obviously dismantled and cleaned because I bought a bunch of perennial plants from Ireland that arrived this week. I'll throw a picture up of them, and some of those are going to be going into those pots. So that project is coming. Up in the garden, I'm still waiting to get more compost and mulch, but you can see over there I actually missed it last week, but the trucks were coming in and out to grab all the wood from up in that corner. So the wood is gone, and I think that's it for the forest harvest for this year, at least. I got some more mulch down. Yeah, this last week has been pretty good. So this is an aprium because I wanted to plant an apricot, and apparently apricots don't do very well in this area, so they suggested the aprium instead. In the chicken area, I got my little fancy automatic door, and it's actually hooked up to a solar panel that Francis helped me set up the other day. So it's set to open and close automatically with the sun, and it does work. So basically, like, the sensors are here, and if I turn it off, it takes 30 seconds. But yeah, so at night, it would automatically close for the chickens. And then, I mean, obviously I would need to come out and check and just make sure that they got into their coop. But that's one more part of the chicken space that is finished. In the garden, I've just been doing more cleanup. So over here, this is where the perennials are going to go. So all of those things that arrived from Ireland, I'm going to be planting here. And the general idea is I put this wine barrel there and that wine barrel there. And I'm actually going to bring up another wine barrel to go here. And then back in this space, I'm going to be making an asparagus bed. So I'm planning on putting about 36 asparagus plants into this space. And along here, part of that order has some perennial kale, 2 types of perennial kale. So the perennial kale will grow here, and I'll be putting them on stakes because they kind of grow like trees. If I find a photo, I'll throw them in. But I got Taunton Dean perennial kale and Dobetan perennial kale. So those are going to go in this section. The pots that I cleaned out down there will also have some of the smaller perennial tuber plants, the oca and the Chinese artichoke, and there's one more that I forget the name of. This guy here is also a perennial, so he'll stay here. That's like a I totally forget what that's called. I need to get better at like labeling all the plants because I forget what they're called. But all of these green bins I'll probably end up redoing as well. The grow bags, I've decided I'm probably not going to keep using. Well, I'm going to keep using them until they get destroyed. Like you can see this one started to like fall apart on me. So that's not ideal. So I don't think they're a great option for me, at least in my garden. So I'm going to keep using them until they completely fail. because I don't like to waste it. But I'm not going to be replacing those. I did order more of my little cube planters because I think they're very cute, and it has my current mint collection. And in my order from Ireland, I've acquired 6 or 7 more mints. So my mint collection is getting quite extensive, and that makes me happy, because even these up here I think are mostly mints. But I'm not exactly sure where those are going to end up going. I'm kind of thinking it might be cute to sort of like create a little mint wall, like so that the path comes through here. But it would be like shanked on both sides with kind of like little mints or something. I need to think about it, but I have a bunch more mint, and that's cool. The second batch of parsley is looking really nice. So these are a couple of months younger than my parsley group over there, and January means that I'm going to be doing a lot more like seed starting. So one of the things that I need to start is yet another group of parsley. So I don't think that was like a massive overkill. That one I just kind of like threw a bunch of seeds on the dirt and just let them go hog wild, and they really did go hog wild. So this is probably too much parsley. Over there I have 3 plants, which might be more reasonable. But I'm kind of figuring out exactly how I'm going to do that. I planted the little carrots, and they actually like germinate. I need to come in and weed, but like they actually germinated, and I have some carrots, like so this one's a carrot, this one's a weed. But yeah, so I have my line of carrots. I'm trying to get better at growing carrots. And I'm gonna have to see. I was excited about my onions because last year they all basically rotted in the dirt, and this year they're doing really well. And like these green onions are great. We cook with these, but when I kind of dug down to check, they're not like, they don't really have bulbs. So I'm not sure what's going on. It might just be that they're not bulbing yet because it's not warm enough or what have you. But we'll see. I'm still cautiously optimistic that we're gonna have onions. And I was a little concerned. Well, I'm still a bit concerned about the shallots because like they're here, but again, like they're not looking that great or that robust. So we'll see. Weather-wise, we did get quite a bit of rain this week. It looks like, yeah, we got down to -1.5, which seems to be typical. And you can see that there's definitely some more damage. Ooh, especially over here. Wow. So there's increasingly more damage to the nasturtium. So it may get to a point where I end up just saying like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of it. But I haven't gotten there yet. And you can see that the creatures like digging up my mulch. And it looks like some nasturtiums are actually popping up. Like that's a self-seeded nasturtium. And this is still a Susie from last season. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of stuff, but ultimately I definitely don't want this many nasturtiums next season. So we'll see what happens. The exciting thing, and I'm saving the best for last, is you can kind of see there's definitely some dirt missing in this area. I've been trying to like flatten it out, but there is dirt missing in that area because 1, I planted the aprium over there, but 2, we actually have orchard trees. So I'm very excited, and I've started weeding the strawberry patch. So those are works in progress. The fig here, you can see we actually dug him up and redid him. So he's on a mound now. And the rest of the orchard is also on mounds. And I started, look, the mulch, it's so pretty. Like, refreshing mulch is just instant gratification of beauty. It's so nice when it's freshly mulched. Like, old mulch, new mulch. It looks really good. So yeah, when I redid the fig tree, I decided that I was also going to go ahead and refresh the mulch up in here and redo, like, weed and remulch the strawberries to get them ready, because they're already coming out of dormancy. I mean, our winter is very, very mild. Like, the lowest temperature is pretty much like -1.5 so far. But here, January is the coldest month, I've been told. So we'll see if we get any colder in January. But I'll introduce you to our trees. So these, actually, they all came from a local nursery, and they're huge. They're much, like, thicker than what I would expect to get in the States. So this one is Rain-clawed Beauvais, so plum. This one is going to be a Mirabelle de Nancy plum. This guy is, I think, the Summit cherry. Yeah, Summit cherry. This guy wasn't labeled, but he's supposed to be a Giant something cherry. This guy is the Conference pear, and this guy is the Burr Hardy pear. And then down here, the two spots left are going to be for the apple trees, which we had to special order because they didn't have the two varieties that I had picked. Originally, I was going to get Granny Smith and Fuji, but then Granny Smith was definitely not available, and I actually decided that since I'm so used to, like, Granny Smith and all those ones that I find in the States, I actually got the French equivalent, or the seemingly French equivalent of Granny Smith, which will go here, and then another companion apple tree. Because basically, like, the apples need 2 to pollinate, the cherries needed 2 to pollinate, the pears needed 2 to pollinate, and I think the plums just do better when there's 2. And the aprium didn't need a partner, and actually the aprium ended up being an extra because originally when I had dug or designed this orchard, I thought I was going to have 9 spaces, but then I decided to put the trees a little further apart, which ended up only giving me 8 spaces. But yes, so later in January, we will be picking up the final 3 trees and getting them in the dirt. We actually just got back from visiting the neighbors down there, and she was asking about the chicken pen, so we were telling them about that. And she did warn me that there are foxes here. So even though I've never seen a fox, she says that we do have foxes, and they will, dig and try to get into the chicken coop. So she suggested, like, electrical fencing to try to keep them out, but I'm hoping that the wire mesh that I put underneath will be sufficient. And then our wisteria tree, wisteria vine, is all dormant. So things to come are, I need to prune, I need to cut back this guy. I need to get the ivy off the house because it does look pretty, but but I worry that it's gonna, like, its roots are gonna end up going through and actually starting to potentially damage the clay bricks that make up the house. So I've decided this is fine because I know this is built on cinder blocks, but that I want to bring it off the house. I don't want to encourage the ivy to do that. I don't think I've shown this. I got him planted out. Francis's mom gave me this little guy because she planted three. I think she planted 3 or 4 in her tiny garden, and then realized how big they got. So this guy is supposed to get like basically like 6 to 8 feet tall and pretty much 6 to 8 feet wide. So they do get quite big, and so I'll kind of trim him, but we're hoping that he's basically going to create kind of a little privacy hedge. Our magnolia here has its buds coming on. So this will be very pretty in a little while, because this is the version that flowers first. So I'm pretty sure all of these little things turn into flowers, and it looks really, really pretty in early spring. I refilled the bird ball thing. But yeah, this guy I'm leaving alone because I gave him a pretty thorough haircut last season. So I'm waiting for him to grow in and kind of decide what he's going to look like. Last season too, like this spider plant died completely. I don't know if I have any photos, but yeah, it basically, it got cold, and so it went down to like just a gnarly brown mess of dead leaves. So I've been putting the blanket over him, and so far he hasn't died. But then also I think the weather has been pretty mild. So that brings us full circle back to this project. So yeah, this is like this barrel will get brought up into the garden to fill that 3rd spot. And these barrels are going to be staying here, but probably won't get anything planted in them for a while. I think I mentioned up in the garden, like I have a plastic bench that's going to be moving. I have potentially found a wooden bench on our Craigslist equivalent out here, so I might be able to pick that up. It doesn't fit in the car completely, so we're trying to figure out how to do that sanely. And yeah, I think that's it for this week. So I hope you had a good one, and I will come back up here and I'll leave you with sunset views of the garden and my little aprium tree. So I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you next week. Bye.